I'm glad that Chicken Pickle covered this topic um, 22 minutes ago because I've been seeing a lot about it, and I don't cover the Amber Lynn saga as much as I do the Foodie Beauty stuff. But I also have seen kind of a disturbing trend within the React community where there's a lot of defending your own kind of thing, just because. And I mean, did Amberlyn make some mistakes here by giving up too much information? Absolutely. But does that mean that you, as a React channel, should act on that information? It's getting a little invasive and gross, and a lot less about just covering a subject of entertainment. And some of y'all starting to act very paparazzi, is all I'm saying.
I'm so much better than majority of you.
And I'm the queen bee, so eat it up and crown it. You're all welcome.
And I got a message from one of my friends saying they don't want anything bad to happen to me. And I get messages like that all the time.
I feel very attacked.
And you are a disrespectful piece of shit.
Illiterate! What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Hello, little gherkins. Well, it looks like border bouncing Bonnie may be on a visa run. Of course, that's just speculation, but she's due for a visa run in the next couple of weeks, and all of a sudden she has been gone for 2 days without anything other than her stupid rap and Madonna cover.
Yeah.
So in her absence, I kind of got sucked into the drama.
And both of those were edited in advance, so they were clearly scheduled to fill some time. So, yeah, Chantel doesn't want us to know what's going on with her right now, which is fine. She's entitled to her privacy.
Surrounding Amber Lynn right now. I used to cover Amber here and there, but frankly, there's only so many times I can watch her play bingo and show her awful nails.
For real.
But the current events have piqued my interest. So, for those who may not know, Amber did a Q&A recently where she claimed that a reaction channel doxed and harassed her weight loss surgeon. Let's get into that part really quick, as well as her most recent video regarding lying about her weight loss surgeon.
People be doxing like what doctors I have. That actually goes into the next question. Perfect segue, Amberlyn. What really happened during the weight loss surgery era? Okay, I specifically said repeatedly during that whole era, I will explain later. You guys will see why I'm upset later. I can't tell you now, but I'll tell you later. Later is here, and I'm just going to do it short and quick and to the point. I could easily do a whole story time, but I'm just not going to even do that because I'm not going to put my energy into this that hardcore because I just don't want to. I did back then. My energy was very much into this back then. I was very upset. So let's get into it. So if you guys remember, I came on my YouTube and I said, oh, I can't get weight loss surgery until I don't binge for a whole year. It came out of nowhere. It was confusing. It was weird. It made no sense. But I held on to that and I said, okay, let's do it. Then I had an appointment with my dietitian.
Okay, there's going to be a lot of background in what Chicken Pickle put together here to really inform you on why we are where we are. But you might want to skip ahead.
And she said, you're going to come meet the surgeon because we need to talk to you about something. And this was before I was even supposed to meet the surgeon. Anyways, I was going to meet the surgeon even before I was supposed to. So long story short.
Okay, her cutting this long story short will actually make this extremely confusing for people who may not remember the timeline. So for some quick context, on February 27th, 2023, Amber uploaded a video titled, I Got Bad News, where she says this.
And I had my dietitian appointment and she told me this is going to be hard to hear, but if you are trying to get weight loss surgery, this is within their program. Every program is different. If you are trying to get weight loss surgery with this program, you have to go a full year, 365 days without one binge. And that like broke me. This is the second time I've seen this dietitian. I guess from this point forward, I'm going to see the dietitian once a month. and my next appointment's already scheduled, so I've already seen her twice. She said the improvements I'm making is amazing, and she's proud, and I'm going in the right direction, etc., etc. But she said I cannot get weight loss surgery for a year. She cannot approve me for a year. And I immediately broke down.
Then March 26th, she uploaded a video about a change in her surgery timeline where she says this.
So I had my dietitian appointment. It was just a few days ago. I have one once a month for now. And it's just to see how I'm doing, talk to me about my progress, what more needs to be done, etc., etc. And this appointment, I'm gonna be honest, guys, I know you guys hate when I say this, but there is some things that are currently happening, like within everything that I don't feel comfortable talking about right now. So there is pieces of my journey and my story missing that you guys are not hearing about, but I will tell you, I promise. I'm just not telling you yet. And the reason why I feel like I need to say that is because I don't want to feel like I'm lying to you guys, because I want it to be so transparent in my whole journey with this. But
This is where you screw up, Amberlynn. Like, nobody fucking cares. This is your health journey, and so you don't need to display it online. You don't need to tell us about it. And so if you're inviting the vultures in to harass you, that is somewhat on you, you know? I most certainly wouldn't be giving up my doctor's information online, even hints about it, where they could dig it up. Forget that bullshit.
I just feel like there are certain parts that I want to keep private now because it's going to help me. And that is my goal here, is to help me, and I want to improve. I want to better myself, whether that be physically or mentally. And I shouldn't have to explain myself, but I just wanted to let you guys know that there is parts of the story missing, and I'm trying my hardest to be as transparent as I can and to let you guys know as much as I can, okay? So my dietitian said that everything I'm doing is exactly right so far, and that I'm doing really good, and I'm making progress where I can. So I don't know, it just made me feel like a big weight was off my shoulder, because obviously, I'm telling her like it is. Like, I was like, you know what? I wasn't on track for a little bit, and I'm back on track, and, she understands that, and she was just like, we don't expect you to be perfect, and I don't know, it just made me feel really validated. So, but the really good news, honestly, in my opinion, this is amazing news, because as you guys know, I was told that I was gonna have to wait a year for possible surgery, and that was kind of scary for me. And my dietitian had the appointment with the surgeon and all that type of deal. They've changed their minds, and that, oh God, I got kind of emotional. They have changed their minds because, like I said, there is bigger things happening that I can't discuss, and I feel like I keep saying that. I know a lot of people are going to be frustrated with me, but just please be patient. I promise everything is going to be out in the open eventually. I promise, okay? So just understand that what I'm telling you now is because I do want to share this journey, but what I'm holding back is because it's for my well-being, okay? So the new goal is they want me to show progress 3 to 4 months from now, just for 3 to 4 months. They just want to see progress. And I'm glad they came up with that decision, because waiting a whole year is a long time, not gonna lie.
And finally, on April 21st, she uploaded the video where she talks about actually meeting her surgeon.
It was kind of a long appointment. Overall, it was actually really good. And like I have been saying, when it comes to the whole weight loss surgery thing, there is something that has happened, and I am warming up to the idea of speaking more about it. But the only reason why I feel like I have to constantly say this, that I am saying that something is happening and I am not telling you guys, is because when I finally do tell you guys, I don't want people to be like, wow, you lied and you didn't tell us. I'm letting you know right now there's something that I'm not saying, for that reason, because I am trying to be transparent. But like I've said, for my well-being, I'm not ready to share. So the whole 12 months to wait for me to get surgery, he said that was crazy. He said it was actually just like a recommendation, and I will explain more of why that was a recommendation. That is part of what I'm not telling you guys so far. I know it's confusing. Trust me when I explain to you guys and I come back to these like storylines and situations, because I'm sure it's leaving you guys confused, because I know as a viewer, I'd be like, what is happening? You guys will probably look at it and be like, oh, okay. I get it now. I understand. But the surgeon said like that 12 months thing was crazy. So he even said like, no, I want to meet her one-on-one. I want to have another second opinion.
Yeah, this is not unbelievable. I mean, I've gotten various opinions from doctors where they disagree with each other. I had one physical therapist tell me that my former physical therapist should not have been using a percussion gun on me because my injury is too sensitive. But at the same time, he spent every session with me working my upper body instead of actually strengthening my leg. So, like, I've gotten varying opinions from medical professionals, and it's very frustrating. It's really frustrating, and at the same time, you have to just kind of smile and just carefully ask questions, because you don't want them to be like, I'm not going to treat you anymore, right? If you question them too much, they will get to that point. So it's a precarious situation, and I know that Amberlynn she struggles with expressing emotion, expressing details, with making it feel natural, feel realistic. But I think that's just a personality flaw. And she probably is kind of going through this back and forth with doctors, which I would not be shocked by, because I've certainly gone through it myself.
And that's when he got a second opinion, and that's when I was told, okay, let's do 12 therapy sessions. So that is still what stands, that I'm going to do these 12 therapy sessions, and we're going to see if, my view towards food and the way that I treat food changes, and we're going to see if I improve in the next 3 to 4 months. And if I do, I will be getting weight loss surgery.
Okay, so now that we've recapped some important context, let's let Amber spill the tea.
Hundreds and hundreds of people were emailing my surgeon, finding his Instagram and messaging him. They were contacting my surgeon's office through the phone, through messages. Any way that people could contact my surgeon, they were finding it and they were doing it. So how did people find out who my surgeon was? A reaction channel. How did that reaction channel find out who my surgeon was? Because I read maybe 2 sentences of an email that was sent to me by my surgeon's office.
Okay, let me start by saying, don't do this. There's no reason to waste business's time and resources to call and attempt to sabotage someone's medical procedures. I would feel absolutely violated if this were me and tons of people were calling my doctor for any reason. It's weird and it crosses a line. With that being said, let's address a few things Amber just said here. First of all, the reaction channel she's referring to is Narc Alert. But let's pause for a second and address how Amber claims Narc Alert identified her doctor. Amber claims it was because she simply read a couple of sentences from an email. But that's not true. This is just one example of what Amber disclosed about her surgeon. This video was posted.
You know what though, Chicken Pickle, it kind of doesn't matter. Even if she dropped additional information that Narc Alert could use to Google and figure out who the doctor was, she acted inappropriately. To sign up for a free seminar acting as though she wanted weight loss surgery, that's going too far. That's going too far. I'm not going to dive into people's personal lives like that. Like, if I'm covering you for entertainment, I'm not going to be like calling your hometown buddies and shit, trying to figure out where you shop and buy weed. I'm not going to be figuring out who your doctors are. You live your life. You do you. Okay? I think it's gross that you guys are so obsessed with these subjects that you would dive in that deep, that you would actually start contacting people that are in their real life. Like, think about it. Can you imagine if they started doing that to you?
January 31st.
And this surgeon is actually amazing, an amazing surgeon. Number 1 surgeon in the state where I am going, and they do it robotically. And normally, they actually taught this there. Normally, the surgeon has like 1 robotic in their like hospital or whatever, but they have 2. And they said it's very rare for a bariatric facility to have 2, but they have 2 because of how good they are. This surgeon has won awards. This reactor wanted to know so badly who my surgeon was that they faked wanting to get weight loss surgery just so they could get that email back to them to confirm who my weight loss surgeon was. And once they confirmed who my weight loss surgeon was, what did they do? They doxed him.
I'll be honest. I don't watch Narc Alert, so I don't know what she did. I did attempt to find this specific video so I could see what actually happened, but I could not find a video from this time frame where this happened. I'm not sure if...
Yeah, I heard that she apparently put his information in her Discord. And that's basically a call to action to her own fan base to harass the surgeon. Not cool.
This took place in Discord, or if I'm just missing it. But I will say, if this is true, and any reaction channel contacted a bariatric clinic pretending to want weight loss surgery just to seemingly have some sort of inside scoop, that's weird.
Yeah.
React to the content. Hell, even speculate on who her doctor is by what she's saying in her videos. But there's no need to go that far.
They said, this is Amber Lynn's surgeon. This is who he is. Blah, 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 blah. Well, my surgeon was Dr. Smith, the same surgeon who did Tammy Slayton's surgery. I have met him. He is wonderful. He was understanding. So when I met him and we had that meeting, I explained to him everything. He explained to me the type of messages and things that he was receiving. It was people saying how I binged and I lie. So not only was I fighting for myself to get weight loss surgery, but I was fighting against hundreds of people because of a careless reaction channel.
To be fair, Amber was just as careless. I specifically remember her saying she had to go out of state for this doctor. Even in the clip we played earlier, she said he was number 1 in the state she has to go to, and even specified it would be an overnight trip. But then when she went...
Yeah, but she talks about that too, that she was misinforming her audience about the surgeon to try and throw them off the tail, right? That's what she says, at least. I know that she's very childish. She appears to be emotionally delayed in her development, right? And that's probably why she has all these weird tantrums and can't have successful romantic relationships and things like that. But just because she has this difficulty, this, potentially a mental delay of some sort, doesn't mean that a reactor should put the information into a Discord, which is what is alleged here, and basically get her rabid fan base to harass the dude.
It was very clearly a day trip in Kentucky. She gave a lot of details that would have allowed anyone who really wanted to dig into who our doctor was plenty of information to do so. She gave information on seminars and how many very rare robots the doctor had. She gave information on the exact type of surgery she was having, which a very limited amount of surgeons perform. Hell, she even threw in a little hint earlier when she mentioned that the surgery was the same one that one of the famous 1,000-pound sisters got. Amber has been on YouTube, in this mess of a community, for over a decade. Amber knows the very minimal information needed to figure out who someone is. Hell, Chantal had a man doxxed with nothing but a pair of shorts. Amber is just as much to blame for the identification of her doctor. I'm not saying it's right to contact him or waste time or resources. It's not, and no matter what Amber disclosed, it doesn't make it okay. But she's taking zero accountability here and being very misleading.
Yeah, seriously, Amber, I mean, you do need to become an adult and realize there are certain things that you can't talk about online. And just because you want to brag all the time, oh, I'm going to this great surgeon, oh, so cool. Oh, shit, everybody's contacting him now. Well, you could have turned that around and made it like an endorsement process rather than an outing like that. So yes, you are accountable here as well. But I will certainly not justify Narc Alert's behavior in this. She went too far. It was ridiculous.
Doctor was not identified solely by her reading a couple of lines from an email.
I was pissed. I was hurt. Because it's like, react to me all day. Go for it. I really don't care at this point. But stop getting in the fucking way of my life. Like, you got in the way of my life.
Fair. That's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Like I said, if someone was able to figure out who her doctor was with the hints she dropped, that's on her. But there's no need to contact her doctor or pretend to want surgery. That goes beyond the line of reacting or being a viewer. We don't need to get involved in their lives directly.
So once the surgeon heard about all this and heard my side of the story, that is when things were changed. And he was like, you know what, a year is way too long. He explained to me that they've never been in this type of situation where like someone who was well known gets doxxed and now he's receiving all of these messages and calls and stuff. Like not only like was that not fair to me, but it wasn't fair to them as professionals. Like they had to deal with all of these messages. That's not fair to them.
I agree with Amber here. I've seen some arguments that he has a large social media following and probably had a ton of exposure from TLC, and other reasons as to why he probably already gets a lot of people contacting his business. But that really doesn't make a difference to me. There's no need for it, especially when your goal is essentially to tattle on someone so they won't be able to have surgery.
As I speak on this, I also want to thank Zachary Michael because he knew about all of this. I actually told him in private. I didn't give him like the rundown. I didn't give him every tiny detail, but he knew who my surgeon was. I went back to try to find the DMs, but I don't know. A lot of DMs were deleted. I don't know if it was because of him or because I had him blocked.
Yeah, Zachary. You should not. I mean, this is where I get a little confused with the React channels about them wanting to actually have personal contact with the subjects. Like, if she slipped into your DMs to drop some tea like that, you should have just immediately said, do not contact me. This is inappropriate. I cover you as a React channel. You should not be doing this. Right? Especially if it's not just a leak. Like she's leaking something to you. No, she's saying, I have a secret and I want you to hold it. That was such a mistake, dude. Oh my God. And here she's making you look like your like you're her bitch. That's terrible. That's so bad. But also, I have a problem with the I don't know who it was. There was somebody who put out a React video yesterday and spent 20 minutes bitching about how she cut her own hair to get the dry ends off. You know, yeah, it's a little uneven, but I don't appreciate listening to somebody say, my sister's a cosmetologist for 20 goddamn minutes. When you don't have the training, you don't have the knowledge, you don't know what you're talking about. And, you know, I was a licensed cosmetologist for 5 years before I decided to go back to college. And that was some of the most irritating 20 minutes I spent yesterday watching a React channel. I was like, when is she going to be done with her fucking shit about her hair? Sure, it's a little uneven, but it does look healthier. And you know what? Most people are not getting professional products every goddamn day. Okay? Can she afford it? Probably. She could. But she also has some sort of problem with going out by herself, right? So going to a salon, getting that advice, is difficult for her because she is completely reliant on her mom right now, right?
At one point, it's a mess. I do be blocked in, I'm not gonna lie. But just out of respect, I'm not gonna share our DMs because I feel like that's low life. I know reaction channels love to share DMs. It's like their go-to. It's like, oh, Amberlynn messaged me, let me show you. It's like, for real now, come on. But yeah, Zachary Michael knew and he didn't say a word. And in his reactions, he acted like he had no idea.
This is extremely manipulative on Amber's part. According to Zachary Michael, she did disclose to him in DMs that her surgeon was Dr. Smith, but she specifically told him not to announce this publicly. It sounds like he did exactly what she asked him to do, but she's mad at him and calling him out for not talking about it.
Wow.
This makes no sense to me, and it gives me the feeling that she messaged him to tell him, fully expecting him to go public with it. But he didn't take the bait, and now she's mad. But more than anything, if you didn't want anyone to know who your surgeon was, why the hell would you tell a reaction channel? Like, be for real, Ambi.
And I feel like a lot of people might ask this. No, that's not the reason why I didn't end up getting weight loss surgery, because I was still going through with it. Like, Dr. Smith is so freaking amazing. Like, he was so sweet, such a gentleman. He was rooting for me through and through. Like, I wish more than anything, if I ever want weight loss surgery again, that he will be the surgeon, because it's just like, he is incredible. I ultimately did not get weight loss surgery because I didn't feel ready. I didn't. I genuinely didn't. I didn't feel like I had the support that I needed because me and my ex, my now ex, we were just going through a lot at the time, and it was super expensive, like $35,000. Like, it was just like a lot of different things that were causing me to be like, this is not the right choice right now.
Okay, let's jump into her latest video, where she talks about her lies in regards to who her doctor was.
Okay, guys, so this whole thing with like my surgeon and the reaction channel doxing him, it's a little bit bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I genuinely thought people weren't really gonna care, because I feel like that's usually what happens. Like, I share something that is like really big to me, and a lot of people make it really small. But a lot of you have been like, wow, that was wrong. I've also received a lot of people asking me a few questions about the situation, so I figured I would answer them for you guys. So the first one being is, why did you lie about your surgeon? Because a lot of people went back and they were like, wait, I thought your surgeon was in a different state. Wait, I thought your surgeon was a female. I'm confused. So yeah, I did lie. I did lie about who my surgeon was. I lied about where they were, and it's because I wanted to steer Narc Alert. I wanted to steer Kicking Geese, which are the two reaction channels who did dox him. But it was first Narc Alert, and then Kicking Geese decided to do that as well. And in several live streams, she would pull up, you know, his seminar, pull up his name, and say that this is Amberlynn's surgeon. Like, it wasn't just one.
Okay, lesson learned, Amberlynn. You disclosed too many details about this process and who you were going to see, and vultures came after you. Now you know, right? So you're not going to do this again, right? You're not going to set up a situation where a business gets harassed because you put out too many details on your channel.
Live stream where they did this, it was multiple and multiple. I wanted to steer people away from my personal medical information and life, because I don't think that's anyone's business, honestly. So I was trying to protect myself. So I stated multiple times that my surgeon was female and that it was in a different state than where I was actually living.
I can absolutely understand why she did this. Clearly, people will go too far. However, the problem here was that Amber couldn't keep her own lies straight. Even in the clips I showed earlier, she was referring to her doctor as he. We discussed more of her discrepancies already, but if you're going to lie, you gotta be consistent, Gorley.
I only ever did that because I was scared, since I knew that he was doxxed. I wanted to do everything in my power for people to not believe that Dr. Smith was my surgeon, because I did not want the surgery ruined for me, because at the time, it was everything. Like, I wanted the surgery more than I ever wanted anything, and I went through a lot in that era, like constant tests, and it was stressful. It was a lot of money, but at that time, that is what I wanted and what I needed, and I didn't want anyone to ruin that for me, because I could tell that that's what was happening. And that goes into the next question of, why didn't you tell us about Narc Alert doxing your surgeon way sooner than this? Like, why didn't you tell us while it was happening? Because if I did that, that would have confirmed who my surgeon was. And I didn't want anyone to know. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this isn't the first time I've had issues with the Narc Alert and I didn't even say anything about it. Like, another really good example of that is, like, a lot of people think that I go on Reddit and like I get my subreddits taken down. I have never in my life done that. I'm telling you, like, hand to the universe, hand to everything that I love. I have never done that. I'm not a Reddit girly pop, and I truly don't care if people are on other websites talking about me on forums and things like that. Like, I don't care about that. Like, deep down, I don't. But the Narc Alert actually got one of my subreddits taken down. She ended up bragging about it on her Discord, saying like, I'm the one who got it taken down. And she was saying how, oh, everyone thinks it's Amberlynn, but little do they know it was actually me.
Has this been confirmed? I'm assuming Amber has a screenshot of this. Why would Narc Alert want the subreddit taken down? Was it purely to frame Amber? I really wish Amber would give more context around some of this stuff. Show us some screenshots or...
Yeah, I would like more info on that too, because I haven't seen anything to back that up. I have no idea what she's talking about there. But also, I have a Reddit account that's really old, but like I never use that. I don't go on Reddit really.
clips, Squirrel.
And I never said anything about it because I personally don't want to put my energy into this woman. I don't like her. Her whole channel is very reflected around the fact that she thinks I'm a narcissist, while she is continuously showing narcissistic tendencies. Like, she can't even admit to them. While I'm over here where it's like, yeah, I do have my narcissistic tendencies. I am able to pinpoint them for you if you wanted me to. But for you to like dox my surgeon and like act like it's totally fine, take down a whole ass subreddit, brag about it and say, ha ha ha, everyone thinks it's Amberlynn, but little do they know it was actually me. Well, I'm getting constantly harassed.
Well, also, I mean, if you're going to have a channel that's called Narc Alert, you better have some psychology or psychiatry credentials that you can back up to be the kind of person that you are able to identify narcissism, because otherwise it's entirely speculation, right? Sure, we can look around at the people around us and say this is a narcissist because they're so focused on themselves at all times, right? And they don't really care about anybody else. Sure, we can say that. But to have an entire channel that is based on you being the person who identifies narcissists, you could get in a lot of legal trouble for that. If you don't have medical credentials, then you have no business trying to diagnose people.
Oh my god, I can't believe you would take down the subreddit. Like, how lame are you? Like, I can't with this woman personally. So while everyone thought it was me taking down the subreddit, it was actually this reaction channel. I honestly don't know why she got the subreddit taken down, but knowing her is probably because they said something about her. But regardless of the reason, it would have been very nice for her to like maybe make a video and say, y'all, it wasn't Amberlynn, it was actually me. But of course she's not going to do that. And of course she's not going to admit the wrongdoing of doxing a surgeon. Instead, she wants to blame her audience and she wants to blame Kicking Geese and everyone else around her. She even wants to blame me because I was sharing my journey to get weight loss surgery on YouTube. And I purposely was being very, very aware of the fact that like people could figure out who it is. So I'm going to make sure to say things that would steer them in a different direction. And I know that is me lying, but I was doing it to protect my medical personal life.
I think at this point it's just repetitive. There's accountability to be taken on both sides. To be clear, Amber's part really only has to do with how much information she provided that would lead to people inevitably finding out who her surgeon was. If NarcAlert truly did everything Amber said, that's wrong, and that's on her. At the same time, if NarcAlert only confirmed who she believed the doctor was, and people took it upon themselves to contact the doctor, that's not on her. That's on the audience.
For those of you that I have hurt by lying about this, I am very sorry because that is never my intention to hurt anybody. But I had to choose myself in that situation. And the reason why I'm talking about it now is because I finally feel comfortable. Like, I no longer see Dr. Smith. I don't live in Kentucky anymore. It's just at the time, I'm not going to sit there, talk about it. And that's the confirmation of, yeah, Dr. Smith is my surgeon. I couldn't do that. I wasn't going to do that. I was very, very upset about it for a very long time. And yeah, I am actually still upset about it because it sucks that that happened. But I finally am feeling like better about the situation where it's like, I'm going to move on. Like, it is what it is. It happened. Now I'm ready to move on. But I did want to share the story with you guys because I told you that I would. I do want to thank everyone for the support during.
Yeah, you should apologize to Zachary. You should apologize to him. You set him up for failure. And that was messed up, Amberlynn.
This time, and for people like who even really dislike me, they're like, I might dislike Amberlynn, but this is not right. Like, I appreciate, you know, all of us standing together in that regard. I know no one's probably gonna listen to me, but just don't harass NarcAlert, don't harass Kicking Geese. There's no reason to harass people because that is like what I was going through, and it doesn't feel good. So I definitely don't want anyone else to experience that because it's not a fun feeling. It happened. It sucked.
I'm really curious to know what you all think about this situation. There's a lot of instances in this community where reacting and viewing turns into something much deeper, and I think it's okay for us to say, hey, don't do that. Anyway, I don't know how much I'll react to Ambi. It just depends on how her content goes from here. But if you are into Ambi and would like to see more videos about her, feel free to let me know. I'll see you later, little gherkins.
Let me tell you.
Well, thank you for that, Chicken Pickle. I appreciate when you give us the summarized update of like what's happening and you speed her up, right? But I think a lot of mistakes were made here. Amberlynn made some mistakes. NarcAlert made some big mistakes. Zachary made some mistakes. I mean, there's a lot of reflection to do in this moment. So, anywho, I'm glad it wasn't me.